Good and Forgotten RPG Witcher, Dragon Age, Bound by Flame and Others. Part 3. For a role-playing game, you must have a well-thought-out plot and game world. The passage is divided into a series of quests, the main ones that are required to advance through the story, and additional ones that give you points for characteristics or useful items and resources. It is also necessary to have a system of accumulation of experience. When reaching a certain level, the player receives the new level of the character and various bonuses that are supposed to achieve the level. Dungeon Siege 3 is a computer game from the American company Obsidian Entertainment, released in 2011 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. It is the third complete and fifth overall release in the Dungeon Siege video game series. The game displays the game world in an isometric perspective, from top to bottom, and uses a seamless game world, constantly loading the necessary game scenes in the background. The Witcher Enhanced Edition Director's Cut is a computer game from the Polish company CD Projekt Red, released in 2007 for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. The game is set in the world of The Witcher, created by writer Andrzej Sapkowski. The main character of the game, Geralt of Rivia, one of the Witcher's characters with superhuman abilities, usually engaged in killing monsters that attack human homes. Fallout 3, Game of the Year Edition is a computer game from the American company Bethesda Game Studios, released in 2008 for Microsoft Windows, Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One and Mac OS. The game made a major shift in the series, using 3D graphics and real-time battles, replacing the isometric 2D graphics and turn-based battles from previous installments. The game was met with hostility in Australia, because of the possibility of taking alcohol and drugs by the character. In India, there was a wave of outrage, due to the fact that the two-headed mutated cows had the name Brahmin, which in India means priest. In Japan, the mission was cut out with the explosion of an atomic bomb, so as not to awaken memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Fallout: New Vegas is a computer game from the American company Bethesda Game Studios, released in 2010 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. You will play as a character known as a courier who takes a package through the Mojave Desert to the city of New Vegas. The courier is ambushed, the package is taken from him and left for dead. After being rescued by a doctor from a nearby village, the courier begins a journey to find his potential killer and take back the parcel. Zenus: Boiling Point is a computer game from the Ukrainian company Deep Shadows, released in 2005 exclusively for Microsoft Windows. The game is a mix of open world, shooter and role-playing game. The main character's daughter is kidnapped, and he goes to rescue her. Zenus 2 White Gold is a computer game from the Ukrainian company Deep Shadows, released in 2008 exclusively for Microsoft Windows. The game takes place on water-separated islands in the Caribbean Sea, in contrast to the single landmass called Reality from the first part. The hero arrives on the islands to investigate a series of mysterious events involving toxic cocaine. It finds itself in the center of a socially unstable and politically unstable environment with 7 different factions. Dragon Age: Origins Ultimate Edition is a computer game from the Canadian company BioWare, released in 2009 exclusively for Microsoft Windows. The main character is a Grey Guardian, a member of a squad of elite fighters, whose task is to defeat the Archman and save the world from a disastrous event called Filth. Dragon Age 2 is a computer game from the Canadian company BioWare, released in 2010 for Microsoft Windows, PS3, Xbox 360, MacOS. In the game, players control a man named Hawk, a refugee during the 5th pestilence, who eventually becomes the champion of Kirkwall. Dragon Age Inquisition is a computer game from the Canadian company BioWare, released in 2014 for Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PC, Microsoft Windows. The story of the game tells about the Inquisitor and his journey to settle civil unrest on the continent of Tennis and close the mysterious tear in the sky, called Drift, which releases dangerous demons. The Inquisitor gathers a paramilitary organization, the Inquisition, in an attempt to stop Corpheus, an ancient creature of darkness who opened a breach during his attempt to conquer Thetis, and achieve divinity. Mars, War Logs is a computer game from the French company Spiders, released in 2013 for Microsoft Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. The game takes place on Mars, a century after the Great Shock. Powerful guilds fight for water, which has become a valuable resource. The two most powerful of these are Aurora and Abundance. The main character is Roy Temperance, an escaped prisoner of war who finds himself caught between many powerful factions and must fight many creatures created by the planet's radioactive environment. Borderlands Game of the Year Enhanced is a computer game from the American company Gearbox Software, released in 2009 for PC and all consoles. The action takes place in the distant future, in the year 2864 AD, at a time when various megacorporations seek to gain control of various planets in order to colonize and extract their mineral wealth and resources. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, a computer game from the American company Gearbox Software, released in 2014 for PC and all consoles. The game takes place between the events of the first and second parts. The plot of the game develops on Pandora's satellite Elpis and shows the history of the formation of the Hyperion Corporation and its head. Borderlands 2 is a computer game from the American company Gearbox Software, released in 2014 for PC and all consoles. 5 years have passed since the events of Borderlands, when 4 asylum hunters Roland, Mordecai, Lilith, and Brick were sent by a mysterious entity known as the Guardian Angel to the Hideout, an ancient alien structure rumored to contain exotic technology and wealth. Bound by Flame is a computer game from the French company Spiders, released in 2014 for PC and all consoles. The game takes place in the fictional land of Verdiel in the midst of a war between the elves and the Red Scribes against the immortal necromancers known as the Ice Lords and their undead empire. The plot revolves around an unnamed mercenary known only by the alias Vulcan,